in water, and you helped me so much realize some truths about water.
Some real truths.
Some real truths.
Absolutely.
And it was so motivating that I'm like, well, you have to come on my Healthy You Live podcast tomorrow with me. And here we are.
Sounds good.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Healthy You. We are live down at Peoria Life this morning, every Wednesday morning at 8:30. So we want to thank you for tuning in with us. And it is my goal as a healthy lifestyle coach to educate you and just give you information that is going to help you live a healthier lifestyle and be a healthier you. Oh my goodness, there is so much to being healthy, it feels like. You know, it's something new every day.
All the time.
But there are some basic pieces to the puzzle that you need if you are going to be successful in living a healthy lifestyle. And we just want to share those with you every week. And so I'm so grateful that you've been tuning in, and thank you. And if you like the show, I want to encourage you to share it on your Facebook page, invite your friends to watch, and we'll post it later, and you can watch it. If you run out of time this morning, it is a half-hour show. You can come back and watch it later, and it's really cool. They put it on their website, and so it'll even be on cable channels on Friday night, I think, as well. So
wow,
you're just becoming Mr. Popular.
I guess so.
Water's
getting popular.
Well, water is becoming popular. In fact, I just did an entire series for my Curves ladies at our Healthy You Weekly meeting not long ago, Gary, about water. And there is this video floating around, I'm sure you've seen.
Oh, I've seen it.
With all these water bottles piled up, and the ladies testing the water and testing it for how acidic it is, or how alkaline it is, or if it's neutral, and suggesting which waters to drink and not to drink. Now, I'm just here to inform. We're not right. I think it's very interesting. You were talking about intercellular hydration. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about hydration in this show, but I think that's the first thing we need to talk about, because that's the big deal. Plastic water bottles and the acidity. I know people have been I've seen it floating around on Facebook, video.
So it must be true.
So it must be true. Oh, by the way, this is Gary Spencer.
Thank you.
Say hey, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Gary Spencer is the owner of Water Medics, and he's an expert in water. And I love it. When I met him for the first time, one of the first things he said is, I am passionate about water.
And I am.
Very passionate.
Get the truth out.
Get the truth out. And you've been doing this for over 20 years?
Yes.
So, it's kind of like a healthy lifestyle coach. I say this all the time. If you're going to have someone guiding you and helping you along the journey, you need someone who's got the experience, who's done the time, who's walked the walk, right?
That's right.
Who's doing it with you. Same thing in everything. It's about experience. It's about you've lived it. You've tested this water. Check out this kit. Which, by the way, I brought my water in from my house, and we're going to test it out and see what's going on in my home water, because I've been really curious. All right, but back to the plastic water bottles. What say you, Gary?
Well, the thing about it is, if we're worried about what's in the water, and we're going by just pH of the water, that really tells us nothing about the quality of the water. It tells us nothing about the ability to be absorbed into our body so we can be hydrated.
Right.
It tells us that it's acidic or not acidic. Okay, but what a lot of people don't understand is for the water to be high in pH, it has to be full of stuff. That is not water.
Okay.
Okay. So a body acidic is very bad.
That's right. We know that because cancer thrives in an acidic body.
So guess what? A dehydrated body creates an acidic body. But acidic water creates a hydrated body. So it's important to have acidic water. And a lot of people are getting told the complete opposite. So
I was told the opposite.
Here's how water works.
I kind of bought into that. Yes.
You didn't bring any bottled water, did you?
Any bottled water? No, because you were like, you made me feel bad about bottled water, so I was
Here's how water works. It has to be able to be drawn into the cell. And when it draws into the cell, it has to be able to pick up nutrients to bring it into the cell. And then and in the meantime, it's going to be able to, at that point, flush out any toxins that are building up.
In your body, that's what happens.
The the more dehydrated we are, the more it's harder to do.
And so one of the things that you said that I find extremely interesting, and since you have this kit and you can check the water and its contamination and what it looks like, you've actually said that you've taken a drink of water that's considered
tested low in pH.
Okay, low in pH, and then you put it in your mouth, swished it around,
Spit it back out immediately, tested, and it's already neutral.
and it's neutralized in your mouth.
And this is the key that a lot of people don't understand. The intercellular hydration will convert the pH to between 7.2 and 7.4 every time. So drinking this high pH water is just causing your filters in your body to clean it up before it ever gets to your cells anyway. So it's a waste of time and money to have high pH water. What we want is clean water. To be able to have clean water, we have to be able to, that allows the water, the way water works, it wants to pick stuff up, is it's going to bring in our nutrients. And then it's going to flush out the toxins. If it's so full of stuff, it has a very hard, if not impossible, time to do that. And what we were talking about before, a baby, when it's born, hasn't drank any bottled water or any water, is 100% intracellular hydrated.
Interesting.
By the time we hit retirement, we're at 15% dehydration or 15% intracellular hydration, and death comes at 9%.
Whoa.
So we have
This
to
is
be able
serious
to,
business.
if we can flush out the toxins, we can avoid diseases.
Yes.
We can avoid problems that come with supposed aging when, if you can stay hydrated, you can also turn all that around.
And hydration is huge. If you're watching, keep watching, because you need to understand this. I was doing some research for this show today and really got me thinking, because Gary and I, we've spent a lot of time together this week. We were recording our I've Decided radio show that air on Sunday morning, so that's going to be awesome. And that's what got me excited about having you here with me today, Gary. But we were just talking about hydration, and so I was doing some research. Doctors say that upwards of 75% of people are dehydrated.
Yes.
That's crazy. And you made a point about when you go to the hospital.
The first thing they do is want to put an IV in you.
Yeah, think about that.
There are many reasons. They know their medicine works better when you're hydrated. They also know you feel better when you're hydrated. There's a lot of things they do just by putting in that IV.
Some people, I think, show up at the hospital and they're extremely sick, and their problem is they are dehydrated,
right,
which is why they immediately give you hydration to rule that out.
Right.
Isn't that incredible when you think about it?
And the doctors would have told me that, and I thought, you're right. That's what they're doing. They're hydrating you.
Of course, because being dehydrated, in fact, I got this list of things here that being dehydrated, but we're not just talking about basic thirst, okay? If people are dehydrated, that means your electrolytes are low. And electrolytes are huge and so important. You know, I have this happen to me all the time when I talk to someone. They say, oh, I drink water all day. There's no way I'm dehydrated.
It's not true.
It's not true. Why do you say that?
I mean, I've read studies, or some of the studies of the equipment that I use have done the studies of the intercellular hydration, and they have found that they have people who drink all day long, and they're just as dehydrated as the guy who doesn't hardly drink water.
Especially if you sweat a lot, work out a lot, like a runner, because
that's even worse.
You're getting,
we're talking about couch potatoes that are still dehydrated.
Yeah, and okay, so help us, and that's that intercellular.
Yes, if you don't, yeah, and so what we have to do is we have to bring that water contamination level down to the point where we can absorb it.
So I see. So the water is contaminated so much that your body really just isn't absorbing it enough, and it's spending a lot of time trying to filter it.
Yes, yes. So I always say, it's better to have a filter than be the filter, right?
Have a filter, not be the filter. Right. That makes perfect sense to me because, we are, in this day and age, this is interesting. So fatty liver or cirrhosis of the liver used to be an alcoholism disease. Right? And it was because people who drink high contents of alcohol, your liver is what filters that out of your body. So it puts so much stress on your liver, causes it to be fatty and to function less. And that's what becomes a cirrhosis of the liver in layman terms, I guess. But now people are getting fatty liver and liver disease and cirrhosis of the liver
And
who
they're not
have
drinking.
never drank
Yep.
alcohol in their life.
Right.
And it's because we're filtering out all of these processed foods, which is another show in itself, processed foods.
Right.
So we won't go down that road. But it's the same thing. If you're putting water in your body that's contaminated, then your filters inside your body
Are working.
are working very hard to get that cleaned up.
That's right. Before they ever can do what they need to do with the water. If you actually test rainwater, it's acidic. If you actually, and what happens when it gets to the ground? It gets to the ground on a creek, it starts to fill up with stuff as it's running across that water, whatever it's running across. So a lot of people think they need minerals in their water to make it so that it's healthier. Well, if we could get minerals from rock, we'd be going around sucking on rocks all day. We don't get minerals from rocks. We get minerals from our food. We get our electrolytes from our food and our juices. So these are important to keep our body from being acidic, but water needs to have acidity to it so it can pick up what it needs to bring in and take out what it needs to take out, and in the meantime be clean enough to actually fill that intercellular hydration so you're not dehydrated.
And I can tell you're speaking from experience.
Yes.
And I don't know if people realize, but you're pretty fit there. So obviously you're working out and you're taking care of
born this
yourself. You were born this way. Okay, you're kicked off the show. You're not allowed to say that. You can't be all buff and be like, "Oh, I was just born this way."
Yeah, right. But I can tell you, it's a
doesn't work
lifestyle.
like that. Yes.
It's a lifestyle that I do, and on the whole thing with my concept is simple: balance.
Balance.
I'm never going to make my water perfect. I'm never going to have zero perfection of my water, but I'm going to balance it. I'm going to balance my pH, and I'm going to balance my food, and I'm going to keep my life in balance. And things happen. As you grow older, you see the people at your age not keeping things in balance, and you know.
It's funny because I had a client who was elderly. She's in her 80s, and she was just sharing with me, I'm having aches in my legs. She was having spasms. She was feeling weak. And I said to her, I think you're dehydrated. It sounds like to me you're dehydrated.
Yep.
And she goes, oh, no, honey, I drink so much water every day. There's just no way. And I said, but your electrolytes, if you don't have the proper amount of electrolytes in your body, which is a part of your hydration system, then you could still be dehydrated. You need potassium, you need magnesium, and that causes you to have muscle cramps if you don't have those electrolytes.
Right. So how do we get electrolytes in our water?
How do we, Gary? Tell me.
We eat good food, and we drink good drinks on top of drinking plenty of good, clean water.
Good,
But
clean
here's
water.
the thing about clean water. Clean water is acidic.
Okay.
Okay? But
Clean
why?
water is acidic, but don't freak out about that
important.
because it's important. And
If it's not acidic, then it's full of stuff. Mercury, toxins, all kinds of contaminants that the city's putting in, and all kinds of contaminants that it's picking up along the way. So these things are bringing the pH up, but also causing you to have to either filter them out. But there's a lot of things that once we drink them, they get stuck in places like our brain and different things where some of the studies that I've seen, and they don't get out.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like a trans fat. It goes in, but it doesn't come out.
Very difficult.
It's very difficult. So that's amazing. Are you dehydrated? Could you be dehydrated? Let's talk a little bit about some symptoms of that. And then I'm dying to know about my water. You're going to tell the whole world how terrible my water
Yes,
is? Okay. So are you dehydrated? There's some symptoms. One of the first symptoms, and working with the ladies at Curves, I have learned, you get achy. Your muscles get achy and fatigued, especially in your shoulders. I used to think, and I think you may think, and a lot of people think, tension. It feels like tension. And because we live in a world where we're stressed out and strung out. And
you get to relax.
Yeah, it's
right?
like you've never, so it makes sense. You're like, oh gosh, I'm so tense. It kind of feels like tension. But what it is actually cellular dehydration.
Mm-hmm.
Your muscles are not hydrated. They're not getting the
shrink,
oxygen
get tight.
they're not getting the oxygen
Right.
that they need.
Hydrogen and oxygen are the two things in water
Yeah.
that we need.
I know. We were talking about how important is water. I'm like, so water's probably one of the more important things. And Gary, you were like, well, oxygen.
Oxygen. Both those things are good.
Yeah, we need oxygen, but then water's probably
Right up there.
Right up there, yeah. And so your muscles start to contract, and it feels like tension in your shoulders. So, yeah, tension is a real thing. But, you know, if doctors believe that 75% of us are dehydrated, more likely is a dehydration problem, and it kind of starts up here. Now, if you're getting cramps, muscle cramps, your toes are cramping up, that's the last place the oxygen gets to. So toe cramps is another symptom of being dehydrated.
Right.
Again, it's that cellular dehydration because your blood needs to be hydrated in order to carry the oxygen.
Metabolic reaction is actually what creates energy for our body and helps us do all the functions of our body. Has to have a fluid situation. They have to stay fluid to be able to continue to work.
Yeah.
The problem is we get used to being dehydrated.
We get used to
and
that
then a little
feeling.
bit more, and a little bit more, and we get used to it. And then we blame it on age. And we blame it on what we ate, and we blame it on this and that. And then the whole time, it's simple as not getting enough water.
It is. And I know as we age, trust me, you know, I can tell I'm 45. I'm not 25 anymore, although I think I am sometimes.
Right.
You know, our energy level does start to subside sometimes, but not to the extent of what we think it is. And I really believe as we age, we are definitely dehydrated. Maybe you're feeling fatigued and we blame it on other things when simply you need to be hydrated.
And the thing about it is if we can get into a home and test the water, then we know where the water stands, what the really bad toxins are that are in the water. But at the same time, my whole concept is to make the water functioning.
Yes.
So I don't want to shower in all these chemicals, so I want to remove those. I don't want hard water because it's going to calcify everything in my house.
Right.
But these things could not be really affecting your health. So then I go to the drinking water and I bring it down to the level where I know we can absorb it. And with my studies on the things we've done, we've been able to prove it. Having 60, 70, and 80-year-olds being 100% intercellular hydrated. How did they do it when everybody else seems they can't?
And they're feeling better. You said you've got success stories of people who are like, I can't believe how good I feel, and it's making a huge difference. Okay, so I've since we've met many months ago, I've been dying to get my water tested. And so we brought it in. You're going to give me a little bit of
Well, we know
results.
Your water's soft. I tested it. It's soft.
It is soft because I have a water softener.
So you got a water softener, so that means you've got sodium back into your water.
That's good.
Well, sodium
Salt is a part of the
electrolyte.
Yep. Yeah, sodium.
So it's okay, except for there's also a whole bunch of other chemicals that the city's putting in, and that they're all automatically in there. One of the things that I'm always concerned about in Peoria is the level of ammonia.
Oh, is green ammonia?
So yellow is the color we want.
Okay.
And you have green.
And I have green.
So green.
I always think green is good.
Yeah, no, not in this case.
Green is go, green for money, green is grass, green is good.
Ammonia actually limits the amount of oxygen your red blood cells can hold.
Okay.
And the more you have, the worse it is for you. They actually, it's just, I got a whole sheet on what ammonia can do, but the bottom line is it's probably better if we didn't drink it.
Probably. My aunt
better
cleans with it.
Mixing it with, your parents told you don't mix chlorine and ammonia and then just go ahead and drink it or use it. Don't ever rinse it out.
Yeah.
So the city doesn't take it out once they put it in. They try to use it for their purposes of keeping the water from being bacteriologically unsafe to the point where, you could die from just drinking it one day. So that's
my
why
healthy house cleaning products from Shaq Lee, they're helping, but look at Ruthie, I'm drinking ammonia. We got to fix this.
Right. So what do we got to do? We got to take that out. That's where we work at the whole house level.
Okay.
We take out major chemicals that are going to affect not just us, but every appliance, everything that we pay for in the home. But then we go down to below the molecular level. Matter of fact, 10,000 times below the molecular level.
Okay.
So our water is able to be absorbed. If you have alkaline water, that means it's so full, the pH is so high, it's so full, it has no ability to pick up more nutrients. It's like going into the wall of the cell It can't fit.
So what you're saying is it can't pick up the nutrients from our food that we're
From our
eating.
food.
Right.
Right.
To be clear. So water needs to, you have to eat, right? We need our food. We get the nutrients, the minerals, and those things from our food. Good quality food.
Photosynthesis.
And then you put a clean water in that goes in and picks up these nutrients and picks up all these things that your body needs and distributes it.
And pushes in the nutrients and flushes out the toxins.
And gets rid of the toxins.
And it just has to work that way. So you have to be able to know where your level of contaminants are. So on this meter is going to tell me the amount of contaminants that are below the molecular level.
Okay, so we know my water has too much ammonia because it's green.
0 to 50 is ideal.
Ooh. Not 400. Almost
not
400.
400. No.
That's like 391. It's getting closer to 400 as we look. Whoa.
Right. 500 is the EPA maximum contamination level. I say 0 to 50, or I don't want to drink it.
So 500 is the maximum, and I'm at almost 400?
Yeah, and that's a good day, I think. That's a real good day for Peoria.
Whoa.
I've seen it way higher. It all depends on the level and what kind of plumbing they have and what is getting into our water. But
now,
like I said, these are at the part where we have a hard time absorbing that.
Now, the truth is, though, we're grateful for our water supply.
Absolutely.
Because we live in the land of plenty. There are many countries that would give anything to have the water supply that we get from our city.
Absolutely.
And so they do the best they can, because you were explaining that. They do their best they can to get us the safest, best
90% of the water
possible.
is for function. For industry, for firefighting, for big water usage. And, 1% is for drinking.
Ah, interesting.
So what they need to do is get it to the point where at that point we can do what we want with our water to make it the way we want our water.
Well, I'm so excited. I'm sure some of the viewers are thinking, I want to get my water tested. So I am thrilled you're going to be at Curves on Wednesday, July 12th.
Yes.
Between 9 and noon, and also between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. This is open to anyone. You do not have to be a member to come to Curves to meet Gary. Bring in your water. You'd prefer it to be in a glass container.
Glass is preferred, yes.
Yeah, so bring your water, your tap water in a glass container, and Gary's going to check it for you for free, which is amazing. And then you can see what your water levels look like. Now, the really cool thing is you can take care of all this, get it fixed. You have the equipment.
Yes.
And as you were telling me, I thought it was going to be like $100, and you were like, Kim, it's like less than 50.
It's less than 50. It's a monthly thing. But
it's less than $50 a month.
People spend that on bottled water that they're getting, all kinds of plastics and extra little ingredients that are free. They don't even charge for them. Isn't that nice?
Right. We drink a lot of plastic, and for many reasons, we really need to get rid of some of the plastic. If we just look at the whole recycle industry, we should drink out of less plastic. But what you were saying is when you put water in this plastic bottle, especially the thin, flimsy plastic water bottles, and it sits in there, the water picks up.
Well, the plastic bottle is designed to break down in our dump for quicker.
Right.
So, but it doesn't know the difference between holding the water in the bottle and breaking down in the dump.
Oh, yeah.
So it's breaking down.
So it's breaking down and getting the water.
And the water, being, if it is pure, its natural state is to pick stuff up. My fear, like I told you before, is always worrying about what they're going to tell me 10 years from now, what it was doing to me 10 years ago.
We've all experienced that. If you've lived long enough, because, in the 80s, it was fat-free.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we went to 60% obesity levels. By the time we got into the 90s, 60% of our population was overweight because they took out the fat and put the sugar in, right? And now we're all addicted to sugar, and 60% of us are overweight. So another show.
And my whole concept is size. I want to put a barrier between you and your water supply that will reduce whatever it is. It could possibly be good, calcium or something, but in fact, you either remove it or you don't. You got to bring it down to size for what you need to use, what you were trying to use it for. So what I always worry about too is what they're going to tell me that's been in the water for so long. Like in a certain town down south from here, they had perchlorate in the water, which is leaching of gasoline tanks.
Oh, wow.
And they announced that they were so excited about putting this big filter in that's going to help reduce the perchlorate. And then you realize that they've known about it for the last 10 years, haven't even put it on the water report. So we've been drinking this perchlorate all this time until they finally had to do something. Well, if you put a barrier between you and your water supply at your point of use in your home, you are no longer the filter. And no matter what they're saying on the water report, there is going to be reduction, if not complete removal, of certain things that you may not know about for years to come.
I love that you're an expert in this. I really love that you got the experience, you've done the time, you've been working in this industry for over 20 years. I mean, you have been working with water as long as I've been working as a nutritionist and helping people live a healthy lifestyle. I think that says something. You know, I think that gives you some clout. I think that people should listen to what you say. You have to listen to experts. Now, there's a lot of information out there, and some's good and some's bad, and you have to really use discernment. And some people may agree with you and some people may not, just like a lot of people agree with me and what I teach in living a healthy lifestyle, and some people don't agree with me. But at the end of the day, what works? What's the experience show?
Right.
You know, what do they say? You know, it's the results speak volumes.
That's right.
Right?
That's
the results speak volumes. So I think that's cool.
It's probably why I'm complaint-free, and you can't find a complaint in the whole area I've worked in for the last 20 years.
I wish I could say that. I try to be complaint-free, but
so it's important.
Sometimes we need a filter on our
That's
lips.
Right. That's right. I know that.
Not just in our body. I keep sitting on the cord. All right, so I want to come back really quick. So are you dehydrated? If you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated.
Probably. Yeah.
You should not get thirsty. You need to drink enough water all day long that you really never feel thirsty.
Right.
You otherwise thirst kind of already starts to. That's a symptom that your body is already slightly dehydrated. Right.
Right.
Dark colored urine, fatigue, dizziness, confusion. Those start to get into extreme dehydrations. But if you get lightheaded or dizzy, you know, you need to pay attention to your urine. I know that's not a fun subject to talk about, but it should be very light yellow, clear almost. What I notice is that when people get hydrated, they actually can drink less of the good water and urinate less because it's actually being used instead of traveling right through. It's being more efficient. Yes. Yes. And that's what it's about, being efficient. Yeah. And we want our metabolism to be efficient, and we want our hydration to be efficient, and we want our food to be efficient and consistent. Right. All right. Wrap it up here. We're getting in the last couple of minutes of the show. I know my water is now loaded with ammonia. Yes. Yay. And my number's almost 400, and 500 is the maximum. Yes. So you're going to come out and show me what you can do to help me clean up my water. Absolutely. If I can't come out to somebody's home and go, yeah, your water's just bad. Take it easy. See you later. No, I have to have a solution. Right. My solution has to be a lifelong solution because most people that I know drink water most of their life. We said it's like the number 2 most important thing, oxygen, water. So let's get something that works consistently. Let's get something that has a long life, and let's get something that is not only affordable, but silly not to. Right. I mean, when you said it's less than $50, I'm like, what? That's crazy. All right. So if you want to get your water tested, Gary will always come to your home and do a free testing. Look at his little medical kit. This is so cool. We'll always come out and do a free testing for them. If you just want to swing by Curves on July 12th between 9 and noon or 4 and 6 p.m., you can bring your water in a glass container. Gary will check it and talk to you, have a little conversation with you. That's a great place to start. But in order to live a healthy lifestyle, to be healthy, the point is you must be hydrated. If you're dehydrated, your body can trick you into believing you're hungry. That's another symptom. So you could actually be eating more than you really need for energy when actually you need to consume water. And it's more than water. It's about having your electrolytes balanced. Gary, awesome. Thanks so much. Thank you. I love you. You're just really cool. Have a rest of a good Wednesday, people. Bye-bye. That's awesome. PeoriaLife.com